everybody, welcome back. So this is my last kidney video. I am done. I've had my surgery. I'm 2 weeks post-surgery. Awesome. And everything went fantastic, better than fantastic. They said it was perfect. So as far as after the surgery, that was by far the most painful thing I have ever experienced. I have had plastic surgery before and it was nowhere near as painful as that. I've had a tubal ligation and it wasn't as painful as that. I've had 3 children and I will say that was by far the worst thing that I've ever experienced. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, it was just painful. They put gas in you. And so you have the pain from the incisions and then you have the pain from the gas in your shoulders. And there's not a pain medicine in this world that's going to get rid of that pain in your shoulders. And sometimes it gets stuck in different places. And as it's moving around in your body, several times it made me want to throw up. It just does awful things to you, you know, so you're hurt, you're cut open, you're missing body parts, and then there's this gas that's moving through your body and it's making you want to throw up as it goes up into your shoulders to cause you pain, lots of pain. But moving helps, but you know, moving sucks too, you know. So anyway, it was definitely painful. I will say the moment I got home, I started to feel better. I walked in the door and I don't know if it's just you're home and you're comfortable and you're happy and you're whatever, but I was home, I was happy, I was comfortable. And I started to feel better and really the pain went from pain to being sore, you know, quickly, very quickly once I got home. As far as the pain also, like 4 or 5 days after I had the surgery, I started my menstrual cycle, which, you know, added to the bloating and the, you know, because after you have surgery, you get bloated and I mean, good golly, then I had the menstrual cycle. And then I also have a hemorrhoid from having children. Never bothers me, never bothers me. But of course, it had to bother me now. So I've been dealing with that for about a week after the surgery. And then, you know, I'm fine now and it probably will never bother me again unless I have another surgery and then it'll be crazy. So I had those things, which if you don't have those, then, you know, but I really don't think that affected the pain level of what was going on because really they were after the surgeries and I don't know, but they were happening at the same time too. So I don't know. Now, as far as what I would do differently, I suggest you do it locally. I would say that my file got dropped into the cracks 1,000 times with Hartford Hospital. I had to call them for everything. You know, I did my first blood draw, my first 24-hour urine, and a month and a half later, I called them to see what was going on with it. I thought that I was not a match and they just weren't calling me because they were busy. I was. They just lost my file, lost half my blood work or urine or whatever it was, and they never called me back. They never called me, ever, never called me unless I called them. I don't care what I did. I did blood work, I did urine work, I did a GFR. They never called me with the results. Never called me with the results. So when I went to Hartford the first time, I said, if they are the same way in person as they are over the phone, they're not getting my kidney. And I meant every minute of that, because if you can't be responsible enough to call me back with my test results, you're not responsible enough to handle my life. Now, I will say when I got there, they were fantastic and they were nice. And once I got to meet the coordinator, she called me back right away. We were, you know, stuff was starting to get done, but we met, you know. So I will say being in person might make these things go smoother because I hated Hartford Hospital for about 6 months. I had nothing good to say about their transplant department until I met them in person. So I don't know. So I say do it local for that reason, and then I also say doing it local for financial reasons. There is no compensation for travel. There's no compensation for loss of wages, things like that. And I never calculated the cost for me. Never did it. Never thought about it. In my mind, the Lord wanted me to do this. I did it. I never thought a thing about it. Didn't care. Figured if the Lord wanted me to do this, he's going to pay for it. I don't care. So I did. And he's still going to pay for it. I don't know how. I'm not worried about it. But as advice, I would do it local to keep things under control. Kind of got a little out of control. So our first trip cost us probably around $400, give or take. You know, it was a plane ticket, I think cost us like $300. An overnight in a motel was like $100, you know, give or take a little bit. And then we had to rent a car. So maybe a little over $400. I don't know. And then the second time we went out, you know, you're talking, we found out on Wednesday and we had to be there Monday morning at 8:45. So you have to get there Sunday. So, you know, because you don't want to fly in on Monday morning, rush to the hospital to get there. You know, no, you want to be there and then go to the hospital. So Wednesday, we found out, so we had to buy a ticket Wednesday to leave on Sunday. Anybody who's ever bought a plane ticket knows that you're going to pay out the nose for a last minute ticket. So it cost us a fortune. So the second trip for staying a week in a motel, and even though Hartford didn't have anything going on, you'd be surprised how quickly motels book up. You know, we had a hard time finding a hotel that wasn't booked. So we had a week long in a hotel, a week long car rental, you know, short notice flight. We probably wound up spending $3,500 to $4,000 on the second trip. So you're talking substantial amount of money. Now, the hospital can participate in a kidney registry that will compensate you up to $2,000, which is a fantastic program, you know, and, you know, you just submit your receipts and then they'll compensate you. I have submitted the receipts. I have not received compensation yet. So if you don't see another video, got the money. If you see another video, I'll tell you how to avoid any bumps in the road or what have you. But I don't foresee any problems. But still, that means that I'm footing the other $3,000. I don't mind, you know, I mean, like I said, I fully trust that the Lord will take care of it. But if I could have avoided it by doing it locally, I would have, you know, just as a, you know, in hindsight, we could have done this differently. So having said that, those are the two reasons why I would have done it differently. Could have saved myself a whole lot of aggravation and anger. I was angry a lot for a lot of that time, you know, and then for the financial reasons, you know, whatever. Then let's see. I would like to see the scar. I guess I would like to know what it looked like, how big it was, because they tell you, and I looked online. And what I looked up online was not what they did. I looked up online and they did this cut underneath the ribs and this cuts over here. No, that's not what they did. So they said that either they would go below the belly button or they would go above the belly button. Well, for me, they went above the belly button, which was whatever, I don't know. I hear you heal better above the belly button, especially if you're somebody who's had a C-section or, you know, any number of kids that wall of your stomach is pretty weak. So anyway, they went above. They said 3 to 4 inches. To me, it looks like 5 to 6 inches. I don't really know. And then I have the 2 smaller cuts because it was half laparoscopic and then it was half stick your hand in there and pull the kidney out. So I'm going to show you, but I'm going to, you know, try to be nice about it. But I mean, it is still a scar, you know, an open, well, not an open wound, but a wound, whatever. So anyway, so that's the one scar. That's the wound, and then there. So as you can see, my stomach is still really swollen from the surgery. But so you have the one long one, the 2 on the side. The weirdest thing, after the surgery, I swear I could feel a void where the kidney was. I can't feel a void anymore. You know, I mean, I think your body just adjusts to it not being there. But I am sore in my back, right below my ribs. You know, like it's definitely tender, sore. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I could be resting and it's sore. Like right now it's sore, you know. I noticed that spot is sore a lot of the time. As far as like the actual, you know, whatever, the scars, whatever, they're not very tender. I mean, I can touch them, I can rub them, I can whatever. But now if you hit them, they hurt. But, I mean, they're not real bad. They're not like super tender or anything like that. I will say that there was one other thing that kind of surprised me. My kids kind of took this a little bit harder than I thought they would. I suggest making sure that your whole family is on board. Talk to your kids. Now, I made sure that my husband was on board, but I really didn't talk to my kids about it. So I highly suggest making sure that your kids are cool with it, or they understand it, explain it to them, kind of talk to them about what's going to go on. I didn't really do that, and I really regret doing that. And I just suggest that you do that a little differently. And I will say this too. I found this, and maybe I'm exaggerating or it's all in my imagination, but I feel like because I chose to do this, I found that people are not very receptive to being nice about it. They're not real, I don't know, hey, let me call you and see how you're doing. You know what I mean? I did not get hardly any of that. I mean, I did get a little bit, but I will say that most people did not understand it. Most people said, why in the world are you doing that? Why would you do that? Why would you put your family through that? They were very, and it didn't matter, and probably gonna get some kickback for this, but I would say everywhere. My family never called. I would try telling them what was going on. They would say that they wanted to know. I would try to tell them. They didn't want to hear about it. So I quit calling. I quit telling them. They never knew when I was having surgery. They found out after the fact because my mother-in-law and husband posted something on there, and then they called. But I will say, be prepared for people to be not as warm and receptive as if you were getting a kidney because you needed one. You know what I mean? Like they're just not as warm and fuzzy. So just be prepared for that. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm fine. I'm okay. The parent part bothered me a little bit. It's your mom. It bothered me a little bit. But now everybody else, I don't really care. But as other people might. And it's something that you should be aware of, as you prepare yourself emotionally, financially, physically, all that. I mean, I was a little surprised, I guess, more than anything, because it didn't really bother me. I was just really surprised because it came naturally to me. Like, this was a no-brainer to me. It doesn't even skip everything. It was like a no-brainer to me. Like, duh, okay, they need a kidney. Let me give them one. I'm a match. Why wouldn't I? But so many people looked at me like I was crazy, and I was floored by it, and I just taken back by it. So be prepared. People are going to be floored. They're not going to understand, and they're going to treat you a little weird for it. They're not going to want to hear about it. They're going to treat you a little weird over it. Just be prepared. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. Other than that, that's all the advice. I do not regret a second of it. I'm happy that I did it, but I'm also happy it's over with. I'm happy that this is the last video on it. I'm happy that we can move on. We can just go on with our life. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to tell you. My life will not change. Nothing in my life has to change. I do not have to have a different diet. I do not have to be on pills. I do not have to eat differently. I have to do nothing differently other than I can no longer take ibuprofen. That's it. Or get the injection whenever you get an MRI. That's it. The contrast dye whenever you get an MRI. Those are the only two restrictions. I can take Tylenol, but there's nothing else that needs to change in my life. I can exercise as much as I want to after the 2-month period. I can do everything that I was going to do before. It doesn't restrict my travel. It doesn't restrict anything else. Nothing changes in my life. Other than can't take ibuprofen, can't have the contrast dye when I get an MRI. Other ways to do both of those, so it's perfectly fine. But I've had a lot of people ask me, well, what's the restrictions? What's the medication? Nothing. Goose egg. Nada. No restrictions at all. other than those two things. So anyway, awesome. I hope that this helps anybody who is looking to donate a kidney. And remember, my process was super long. Yours should not be this long. It should not take this long. You should not have to go through as much as I went through, but I'm glad that I did, so you can see the worst case scenario and know that I came out on the other side saying, still worth it. Still worth it. Do it. It was awesome. I'm glad that it's over with though, but do it. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and we'll see you all later. Bye.